Yeah, I can't see well enough there. That's the C-47, but it's too light out here to see anything.
Yeah,
it's too hard to see.
But this is a DC-3. It's a Flagship Detroit.
You'll see that on the top there are hat racks. Back then, everybody dressed up, they were civilized, they got on the plane and they put their hats up on the ladies and gentlemen. The luggage went in the rear or in the front. This was first class flying back in the 30s. A ticket from Boston to New York run $30. But back then that was a lot of money and everything. So we want to thank you all for coming out, and especially thank you for all your work at American Airlines and all your work that you do helping these guys put on the events and work with the Tulsa and those who help with this airplane. We certainly thank you, and anytime we can to let you folks ride with us, we certainly want to do that. So anytime we come up here, we're going to be doing the same thing. So, with that being said, does anybody have any questions?
Can I roam around a little bit?
Well, you can roam around as much as you want. I mean, you go at the front, or you can go at the back. And what we'll do is, once we get airborne, we'll probably be up there 40-45 minutes. Each of you take and go up in the cockpit and look around the cockpit while we're flying. But remember, you got some other folks back there. I'm not saying you can't stay up there for a while, but we'll move people in and out so everybody can get the feel of what it's like flying around it. We have two gentlemen in there that have a high time in the airplane flying, and both retired captains with America as myself and all that. So we're excited to have you. So let's go ahead and get out and enjoy it. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody? All right, let's do it. Up and you'll get cool air.
Only if
Can we roll the windows down before we take off?
We'll do that up front. Does anybody have any questions? And as I said before, then we'll go in and out up in the cockpit, and once we get airborne. For those of you that haven't flown on one of these airplanes also, there's a lot of noises and whistles and bells that are going off when they get down at the end of the runway to do their checks. As long as all that stuff's going, we're okay. If you don't hear any, we're not okay. So, for lack of other words, the sky chefs of that era to give them the meals. Yeah. Also, one of the things about the DC-3, about this one, a lot of people think there were thousands of DC-3s built. There wasn't. There was only 683 what they call the original DC-3s. Everything else was modified. C-47s or 4s, different modifications done on the original DC-3 design. Of the original DC-3, 680 some, this is number 45. Wow. Off the line. It's the oldest still flying DC-3 in the world. And like I said, American flew this plane from 37 to 47, and then it went on to some other boats that added banks and independent motors. Also, just a little other tidbit about the DC-3s. The original ones in 1935 were called DST, and instead of 21 seats, they had 14 bunk beds in here. So it was called the Douglas Sleeper Transport, the Sky Sleepers. So you can travel cross country at night and sleep your entire trip, and then get to Los Angeles from New York 16 hours later and be rested and do your business. C.R. Smith said they weren't making any money, so they went to the 21-seat configuration, is what you see now. This is the first airplane or commercial airplane in the world that can make money strictly with passengers and not have to worry about cargo or mail. It changed commercial aviation. So sit back and I'll shut up and jump in front. And then I hear right back in there with huge cargo the landing gear.
They'll run up the engines here and check the magnetos and the props. During takeoff, you'll probably hear a lot of vibration. like the modern jets as far as insulation, and it has reciprocating engines.
The air conditioning just about ready to start, y'all.
Yes, the air conditioning, someone just mentioned, well, it only works when you're going through the air, flying. In other words, it's outside air. Guess we're not. There we go. Turning to the west. Way in the distance, if you can see it, used to be the city of Faith. I'm going to take a walk up to the cockpit and let you see the cockpit while we're flying. Okay, we're in the cockpit. You can see that the captain has his window open about 4 inches. Nice cool air right there. If you can see his window. That's the first officer over there with the American Airlines logo and DC-3 on it. This is the captain. Here's the instrument. Right in that area. This isn't a very good window, but there's the engine. You can see it. That's the #1 engine, left-hand side engine. This is a view from outside, on the right wing. It's the same there. Everything's routed in country. I haven't been watching, but there's Skyatook Lake, I believe, over there to the left. To my left. It's over, right over there. We'll probably be going over it pretty soon. This is a pretty neat airplane. What you can see that its restoration is pretty good for being used all of the time. Officer has his hand out the window. They put up that flag, which is a flagship flag, and they taxi up to the gate. That's how American Airlines used to do it back in the old days.
Syndicated, you'd be appreciated.